with it. Pass to Jones. Yes, sir, and it's Ball with the assist that time. Ball's got 6 assists now in the game.
Los Angeles foul.
And Mitchell Robinson, he's checked in for New York.
First team foul. Substitution for the Knicks. Number 23.
And just under 2.5 minutes elapsed here in the first. Bridges outside. They need this. Ball with the rebound. And so it's Ball with it. He brings it up for Los Angeles. It's a 13-point game.
And just terrible defense. I don't know how he missed that shot.
Pass to Anunoby. Randall outside. New York again can't hit. Randall's gone 1 for 3 on the night. On the wing, Jones takes the 3. And yes, it's good. He's 7 for 8 now.
So far, they're owning both ends of the floor. We'll see if they can keep this going.
Like tonight, that all the hustle plays have meant so much to this team. Now just sustain some of that energy and keep comfortable.
Robinson against Davis. Brunson taking his time here. Clock at 6. Pass to Robinson. And here's Brunson. From deep three-point land. Can't hit that one. 1.5 minutes left to play in the first quarter. Jones from outside. Yes, sir. And it's Ball with the assist that time. Ball's got assist number 8 here already in the game. Bridges passes to Brunson. Back to Bridges. To snap the cold streak. That one misses. He's 1 for 3. Los Angeles leading by 19. Outside Jones. Lets the 3 fly. And it's New York with a rebound.
And he probably thought he was going to bury that one.
Stolen by Jones. Fires the 3. It's hauled in by Robinson. New York trails by 19. Bridges right side to the paint. And it's going to be out of bounds. New York will have another go.
Just a millisecond late. So close to coming up with a steal there.
Real close, and I'm sure next time you might time that a little bit better and get a hand on it.
And he buries that one. Back rim and in.
Payne gets the hot pass and drills his shot. That was automatic.
We've got a 9-second difference between the shot clock and game clock. Pass to Jones. There's the 3. On target from range. Jones has got 27.
They've really built this lead on the back of their perimeter game.
Well, a lot of importance placed on outside shooting. And tonight you can see why after that kind of quarter exploding from the perimeter.
Randall against James. And here's Randall. Shot clock at 5. Robinson a screen on James. For 3, Randall. That shot is off. And that's it for the first quarter in what has been a very lopsided game. It's Los Angeles running away. We welcome you back to second quarter action. Plenty of basketball left to play, but this one has been one-sided so far. Let's get a quick check of the scoring breakdown here for Los Angeles.
Well, we're in the era of the three-point basket. So if you want to win games in this league, you have to connect from deep, and they have been thus far.
Love the passing that they displayed at the start of the game. Great ball movement that's opening up some chances without really getting deep into the execution.
New York trails by 20. So on the floor for the Knicks, we've got Mitchell Robinson. Precious Achiuwa is out there with Josh Hart. Then there's Cam Payne, and it's DiVincenzo in at the 2. Ball against Payne. Lets it fly from 18. It's rebounded by Los Angeles. Despite entering his 30s, Anthony Davis is not slowing down for him.
Yeah, B.A. And last year, AD put up the best rebounding numbers of his career. And his shooting percentage also very high. And just watching him, Davis is still an all-NBA caliber player, capable of taking over on both ends.
And here's Payne outside. Rebound collected by Anthony Davis. Los Angeles leading by 23. Ball passes to Jones. It's good. And the assist that time from Ball. Jones has got 6 here in the quarter.
They've been very well-rounded and extremely focused.
Coaching staff probably most proud of the effort of this team on both ends of the floor here tonight.
Now a timeout called by New York.
Give yourself a round of applause.
And we played just over a minute of basketball in the second quarter. Pass to Payne. For 3, DiVincenzo. New York again can't hit. And so it's Ball with it. He brings it up for Los Angeles. They haven't allowed any points in the second quarter. Jones' shot is good.
And just executing at a high level. I mean, taking what the defense allows and putting in the work.
Basketball IQ is something that gets talked about, but its importance to a team showing up here, running plays that turn into scores.
And here's Payne outside. LeBron with the rebound.
Looks like the game plan is they're willing to give him that kind of shot. It worked out for them this time, but if they give it to him again, I bet 3 points are coming.
And give their offense some love. They've been the more efficient team.
Yeah, that along with maintaining the pace of play right now, playing with tons of intensity.
The shot by Payne, no good.
The other team just looks more in sync and is riding the momentum.
Well, the other team is scorching hot, and they come down on this end and can't find a way to get the embers going.
I really don't think there's any way to slow them down. They have the defense scrambling out there.
Well, nothing that they're doing seems to be making an impact. And there are some nights where you just run out of options, whether it's by personnel or by tactic.
Now Los Angeles with it. 15 points in a row. A good run right now. Yes, sir. And it's Ball with the assist that time. Jones has got 45 points. They need something good to happen here.
Yeah, they've gone way too long without a score.
Hart finds Payne. Shoots over Ball. No good, off the front rim.
Something's off about him this quarter.
Well, he's missing, and it's starting to affect a little bit in his body language, and you just don't want to see that. I love the aggressiveness. He's been on fire the entire first half and continues to strike while the iron's hot.
Every trip up the floor gets more and more important.
Yes, indeed. They badly want to stop the bleeding here.
And here's Payne outside. Gets the 3 to fall. Payne's got 5.
And Payne coming right back, delivering his own triple.
Outside Jones. And he elevates for the slam. Mitchell Robinson on the wrong end of that one.
He's shaking the hoop. He's actually shaking the whole building.
Oh, what a slam. Look here, the fans going crazy right now. Outside Payne. To the wing, right side. 5 on the clock. Here's Achua. Oh, and makes it with the kiss.
Good decision making. Scopes the situation, puts the pass right on the mark.
Here's Jones.
To throw down.
Well, they're clicking on all cylinders right now, beginning to pull away.
Well, game plan might have been good, but you have to bring it together. Right now, their chemistry is something to be admired.
Outside Jones. And he dunks it down.
You gotta love his unselfishness, and you know his coach does as well.
Well, not just coach, but you can see it in the teammates, the way that they look at him. They appreciate it when he shares the ball like that.
Here's Jones, and a strong finish with 2 hands.
And that's what happens when you don't take care of the ball.
Hey, that makes the turn. Turnover hurt even more.
And the gamble paying off.
Payne against ball. Pass to DiVincenzo. Hart from long range. Drains the triple. There's Ball with a three. Oh, what an incredible end to the corner.
Wow, incredible indeed. Waits until the very last second to let it fly. Woo.
Oh, man, that's got to be frustrating for the defense, too. You just give up momentum like that at the end of the quarter.
And so it's Los Angeles making this game a no contest. They poured it on early, and they've never let up. They're communicating well and stringing together stops. Back to the game after this break. And as we dive into the second half, we'll find out if the next two quarters are any different from the first two. So far, it's been a runaway. Here's Brunson. He's scoreless. Connect is out there with Luka Doncic. Then it's Rui Hachimura. Then it's Thompson. And it's Walton in at the 4 slot. And for New York, inside we'll see Anunoby and Randall. Jalen Brunson is out there with Mikal Bridges. And it's Hart in at the 3 spot. And so it's Hart with it. He brings it up for the Knicks. In 2024, Luka Doncic recorded 6 consecutive 30-point triple-double games.
That's right, B.A. The first time anyone has done it in NBA history. So if you didn't already believe in Luka Magic, well, there's some proof that the magic is real.
6 on the shot clock. And down it goes. Dumped it through off a beautiful setup.
Gotta love the effort there. An undersized forward who can really make things happen with that leaping ability.
Outside Brunson for 3. Randall. New York again can't hit. Fantastic ball movement for them tonight.
And things are definitely working offensively. A balanced attack is just so much harder to defend.
Over to the left wing. And that one is hammered home.
All eyes on Luka. The defense forgot about his teammates.
First minute and a half of basketball played here in the third quarter. To the inside. Here's Bridges. And it's Bridges with the jam.
This is why you put the ball in his hands. An accurate pass hitting a moving target.
Inside. Oh, deflected. And so the ball out of bounds. Anunoby touched it last. Here's Walton. There's the drive. And he says right back at you with a big dunk of his own.
Since halftime, they have been efficient and effective, making Coach very happy.
But the thing is, they're controlling the pace right now, and if that was the mantra for them at halftime, they've carried it out.
He just rises up and throws it down hard with one.
That is such a go-to move for him. He holds nothing back on those.
Who are you telling, B.A.? The reverse windmill? Come on now. That's just not right.
He got in that zone, and he has the ability to do it. Why not? A touch over 2.5 minutes of basketball played here in the third quarter.
Just rising up to the rim.
Man, when he gets up there, he gets up there. You know what I'm saying? Walton's gone a perfect 5 for 5 from the field. Has to connect. Here's Walton. And there's the slam dunk to finish it off.
They're making it look easy out there, just having fun.
Yeah, some of these nights you got to enjoy yourself. Not too much at the expense of the other team, but right now this team is balling.
Brunson finds Anunoby. Three-pointer. Doncic grabs the miss. So it's Los Angeles now. Just 4 points. That's all they've given up here in the second half.
Everything is dropping for them. Just a terrific third period run.
Well, with the confidence growing, that's one thing, but they seem to be getting more intense, and that's helping the quality of their play here.
Brunson. And no good. The dry spell continues. Now Los Angeles with it. Here's Walton.
Yes, sir! That's what you tune in
Wow.
for right there. Wow.
And the dunk to finish it off. A beauty.
I really don't think there's any way to slow them down. They have the defense scrambling out there.
Well, nothing that they're doing seems to be making an impact. And there are some nights where you just run out of options, whether it's by personnel or by tactic.
Here's Walton. He makes no mistake. Slam dunk.
Guys, he is on fire this quarter. I mean, what an incredible scoring performance.
Boy, they need something to go to regain some confidence.
No question. Way too many empty possessions for them.
From deep. Counted from distance.
Encouraging to see Doncic sink the three. Needs to keep doing this now.
And here's New York now. And we've got 28 seconds left in the third quarter.
And that's as good a look as he's going to get. He's just got to shake that one off and keep it moving.
And Walton gets it to go.
He's been a piece of the puzzle tonight, but it's a team effort. Everyone's contributing to this lead.
19 seconds left in the third. Here's Brunson outside. And Walton pulls it down.
It's hard not to want payback when you give up a three at the other end, but it can force you to rush things.
The three. That one no good. And so it's Los Angeles showing no mercy and just piling it on, looking dominant and focused right now. Their efficiency has been off the charts. They're running their sets well with patience and purpose. And don't go. And as we head into the fourth, we'll see if there's a comeback in the works or if it's more of the same for the first three quarters. We've got Trevor Ariza, LeBron James out there with Davis. And it's Hood Schifino in at the point.
There you go. He's a monster at the rim.
So athletic. Obviously, he plays on the attack. McBride attacking. Ooh, and he took a hard foul on the shot. So he'll head to the line to shoot a pair.
Well, that was clearly a foul.
And a moment now to quickly take a look at the offensive approach for Los Angeles.
Well, the coaching staff has to love what they're seeing on offense. There's so many assists because how this team is moving the ball.
We also have to admire the way they've gotten out and run in transition. And they've run wide, they've run their lanes, they've been doing it with a great pace. And that's produced some easy scores.
Knocks down the triple.
Their strategy has been pretty simple here in the second half. Attack from three-point range.
Maybe trying to find a little bit more space and ball movement to get guys open at the three-point line.
Robinson passes to McBride. Achua with a screen. Down low. Outside Robinson. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Here's McBride. It's rebounded by Los Angeles. Davis has got his 6th rebound on the night. Pass to Vujicic. Here's Hood Schifino. McBride covers. Here's Vujicic. And Los Angeles, another three.
And let's face it, when you're down this many points, you simply can't let them get that good of a look.
Teachable moment there. Lapses like this are backbreakers.
Los Angeles foul.
And some changes here for New York. Sims comes in for Robinson, and it's Jalen Brunson in for Payne.
Into the lineup for New York. Jared
Vujacic has gone 2 for 2 so far from 3. First minute and a half of basketball played here in the fourth. McBride can't get it to go. Here's Vujacic. That three off target. Had some space there after the pump fake. Sinks it from distance.
And their strategy is obvious. Manufacture looks from outside the arc.
And I don't know how they keep doing this, but every time down, the resulting possession ends up at the three-point line and a fairly efficient shot attempt at that.
Back to Achua. Takes it inside. Rejected by James.
What a denial. LeBron attacking that shot with pinpoint accuracy.
Now Los Angeles with it. Stringing it together. They've got an 11-2 run going. This one for three. And Los Angeles another three.
LeBron James just plays with so much ease, even with the shot clock winding down.
Now here's Brunson. Pass to DiVincenzo. New York again can't hit. Around 3 minutes gone here in the fourth. Here's Ariza. And he gets it to go.
And trust me, when the D's slow to react, he'll be the first guy to make them pay.
Well, I know they don't have mobile devices out there for texting, so they might as well talk to one another.
Brunson passes to DiVincenzo. Here's McBride. He buries it from three.
He made the most of that opening, teaching the defense a lesson.
Now Los Angeles with it. They're on a 16-5 run. Now James. Pass to Davis. Tried to answer back, but that three is off the mark. And here's New York now. McBride passes to Sims. Now here's DiVincenzo. Launches it. And Hood-Schifino pulls it down. They're enjoying a sizable lead.
And what I like, BA, they haven't stopped pressing the issue.
56 seconds left in the fourth quarter here. Pass to James. The three ball. Nails it from beyond the arc.
When LeBron's shooting like that, nothing you can do defensively.
There's 48 seconds left in the fourth quarter. And so it's Brunson who brings up the ball for the Knicks. Outside Achua. Outside McBride. Back to Achua. Outside Brunson. DiVincenzo with it. That three's off the mark.
I know he's on a cold streak, but he can't let that get in his head.
Especially if you're a player that doesn't get a lot of shot attempts, but otherwise the mindset is, I just got to get the next one to go. And you don't want to put that much pressure on yourself.
Showing us that killer instinct right now. No letting the foot off the gas for them.
Yeah, up until that point, a competitive game, but once they broke through that barrier, it was all them. Complete control.
Brunson with it. So it's Los Angeles picking up the win, showing that they're the far superior team. They win it going away.
I'll tell you what, give it up for their fans. They love to watch this team dominate. You best believe they're all going home happy tonight.
And that'll wrap it up, folks. For Allie LaForce, Grant Hill, and Brent Barry, this is Brian Anderson thanking you for watching tonight's game. And time now for our player of the game.
他没中锋。哎，漂亮，太好了！这也有点难打，有无敌。我操！看不服，他可以换。走了，好球！防三，看不疯了，我来他换！哎呦我操，卡了！哎，好嘛，没了，没有。完了，哎呦，没有，操！好吧，哎，这被控漂亮，好球！防点外线，防点外面。我操，那板儿，你待会儿换个别的中锋的，这板儿不太够。小心点，要搞你！完了，还好吧。他们会运球，我操！没有，好吧。好球！哎呦我操！没事。
的，对自己的我的脖子是冰冷的。是我最的英俊，我顺手打开了地缝。I think I feel the boom boom boom， 心动睁开眼睛，是我在倒下的强烈。I made it for the table， 梦的自己全就让我们彻夜的缠绵，偶尔学着来买，然后你对我不怕被谁看见。把你亲吻，我对着你演唱张惠妹，10万块的价格全是你的香水味。Fast， 活在那想起的 I don't give a fuck。Let's go， 我想太着急，不管别人说什么。I think I fell in love with the alcohol. I think I fell in love with the shit I pop. I think I fell in love with the bitch I fuck. I think I fell in love with the designer. I think I fell in love with 两头的跑车，把你自然忘记自己姓什么。自己的大 tree， 自己承担，自己的我的脖子是冰冷。I think I fall in love with everything that I did. I think I fall in love with the extra drink. I think I fall in love with the sex we have. I think I fall in love with a bitch on my back. If it wasn't fun, just put your fucking hands up. If it wasn't fun, just go and look at that. If it wasn't fun, put your hands up. If it wasn't fun, just put your hands up.
basketball on 2K Sports. Joined by Richard Jefferson and Greg Anthony, I'm Kevin Hardy. David Aldridge is with us on the sideline. Here are the starters for Los Angeles. Jones is out there with Lonzo Ball. And it's Trevor Ariza. And there's Davis. And it's James in at the four-man position. And for the Celtics, the small and power forwards, the star pair of Brown and Tatum. Holiday in the backcourt. To his side is White. And it's Porzingis in at the 5, roaming the paint. Now here's White. Pass to Holiday. Brown. Outside. Trying to find Porzingis. Gets it to him. The kick out to Tatum. Holiday, the pass to Brown. Just 5 on the clock. From deep. Drills it from outside. Brown's got the opening field goal of the game for the Celtics.
A consistent shot for him. Brown likes the three.
Ariza with the bucket.
And an eye for an eye. Both teams working to stretch the floor.
This is today's NBA. Hey, we see this kind of exchange more often than not.
Now here's Brown. Tatum looking around. Here's Porzingis. LeBron with the block. Here's Ariza. Takes it inside.
Gliding to the rim there. Ariza looking graceful on that move.
Holiday, the pass to Tatum. From 11 feet away. And Davis sends it back. Here's LeBron. On the wing, Jones. Misses the three.
And you could tell he thought that triple was going to fall.
Here's Tatum. Tatum slipped by the contact inside.
What muscle on that finish. It's hard trying to prevent Tatum from converting.
Down low. Kicks it out to Ariza. That's in. Coming off an assist from Jones. Ariza's got 8 points.
I tell you what, it's almost like stealing to watch how he plays the game from this seat.
Tatum's shot is off. It's Ariza on the wing. Takes a 3. And again, Los Angeles with the triple.
He is in a zone right now. Every three he puts up seems to be going down.
So we've reached the end of the first half of play. Los Angeles on top. They're up by 6. And we'll be back with you right after this. Without question, Trevor Ariza displaying his skills today.
You just love the patience in that first half. Waited until he got the look he wanted.
You love guys who can get their shots within the flow of the offense.
Holiday in the backcourt. To his side is White. The post pair. Tatum and Porzingis. And it's Brown in at the small forward position. That's the Boston 5. Here's Holiday. It's hauled in by Los Angeles. There's 38 seconds left in the second half of basketball. Offensive rebound. And they double up LeBron. And the ball's tied up, so we'll have a jump ball. Jump ball. And here is Los Angeles now. Clock at 6. Davis finds Ariza. The kick out to Ball. Good on the triple. Ball's got the lead up to 9 now for Los Angeles.
Zero hesitation at the arc. Ball truly believes in his ability to shoot the three.
Here's Holiday. Tatum wide open. He fires one. Off target from outside. Now here's Ball. And it's Ariza in the corner. And that comes off the assist by Jones.
And it's just competing, you know, giving your best when it matters most.
And let me tell you, as a team, you love to hit your stride right at the crucial moments. They put this game away in style.
Here's Tatum. Off the inbound, no good. And so James will bring it up for L.A. On the wing, Jones lets the three fly. And again, Los Angeles with the triple.
They maintained focus all night and along the way put on quite a show.
The opposition had no answer for them. The way they attacked them relentlessly was so impressive, man. That was a good win.
27 seconds left to play in the second half. Ball with it. 6 to shoot. From downtown, drains the three-pointer. So it's Los Angeles winning this one easily. This crowd was stunned by the manner in which their team would.
Thank you.